Yo ho ho, it is time to have fun. Jumbo fellow adventurers, it's Mike Dooley, and we're about to explore Visitors of Light, a brand new topic, one that I'm thrilled to be talking about, lessons from our star family. I gotta confess, I never would have believed 10 years ago that I would be all about ETs. But something shifted in me about that time ago, making it all make so much sense and in such a beautiful way. There's just more goodness to the physical multi-universe than I ever realized before. And in part, it's blossomed. My awareness of it has blossomed just by connecting a few dots, listening to a few people speak, a few introductions. When we're exposed to truth, we know it. It resonates deep within us. We're just like, yeah, of course. Like perhaps 20 years ago when you watched The Secret, the movie, for the first time, or read the book by Rhonda Byrne, or whatever it was, suddenly you stumbled into truth and you knew you were home. It didn't need any further explanation. It spoke of life's beauty. It revealed your power. It left nobody behind. And that's exactly what I aim to impart today. I want to offer you some ideas. There's no agenda. Just offer you some ideas and see whether or not they might not light you up. They might stir some optimism, create reassurance and comfort that all is well in these magical, sacred jungles of time and space. There could not be a more exciting time to be alive than right now, planet Earth, during our great awakening, which is one of the things I'm going to be talking about and ties in mightily to the topic, Visitors of Light. What's all the buzz about? Why are they all here? Yeah, they're practically all here. No, that's probably a gross overstatement, given that there are undoubtedly millions upon millions of inhabited planets, mostly with intelligent life far exceeding how far we've evolved to. Okay, no, not better, not worse, just, oh my gosh. And so let me kind of get into this and share with you. Here's another thought, though, to put this into context and so that you understand how far maybe I have come in my rich life. Until 10 years ago, to me, just the talk of ETs, I found really annoying. It's like, I don't know. I don't really care. It's just not that relevant. Okay. It was in the realm of ghosts, goblins, witchcraft, and Bigfoot. Okay. It's like, I want to live my rocking life. You go look at a telescope at the stars at night. I don't know. I don't really care. Okay. That's where I was coming from. And now look at me. It's maybe a taste of where you're headed in your life when you get your head around the potentials for your growth, your glory, your power, and the odyssey of living in time, space, and matter. All right. This is a free program for everyone, partly because I'm so excited about it, and partly because I'm about to go even deeper into the subject with more relevant points during the remainder of this month of October 2025. I have a 5-year-old Infinite Possibilities membership. This is going to take 1 minute to tell you. We meet every single Tuesday where I broadcast for about a half hour live. 90% of the time, it's live. A brand new workshop. And these workshops are called mini manifesting workshops so that you can manifest quicker, better, faster, easier. And every month, there's a brand new course made up of 4 30-minute installments. Easy peasy, lot of fun, community thousands and thousands and thousands of members. It's 5 years old right now. And the month of October is the month of Visitors of Light that has such relevance to understanding who you really are, where you are, and what you can do with your time and space. All right, so this is our course for October. And when we have a course that's as exciting as this, we open it up to beyond the membership. And so you are most welcome to soak up all the good vibes. Maybe you'll meet a few people in chat. And we would most certainly love to have you in the 4 more workshops lined up every single week, beginning Tuesday in 6 days, on this exact topic where I pick up where I leave off today. But I assure you, you're going to get some juice today. All right. No matter what else happens, I've got this gift of today in store for you. You will be changed by the end of our, I'm going to say 45 plus minutes together. There may be some time for Q&A. I'll take live questions. This is a live broadcast, but I'm not sure. We'll see how the time shakes out. But I'm going to fill your cup, all right? It'll be overflowing. And then you can decide whether or not if you want more. There's links on this page. They'll tell you how to get more. There's bonuses if you get more, all that stuff. Hey, the membership is like $15 a month. So you're going to get 4 more if you partake, and you can quit anytime you want. All right. So I also wanted to tell you, I did a PDF download, a handout. So if you're a note taker or not a note taker, I've taken some really good notes for you. They're already at your fingertips. They'll be on your TUT dashboard. I think you're watching this now on the TUT dashboard. When you come back and watch the recording, and yes, the recording will be available for a good long time, at least a year. You can come back, and beneath the video window, there is the 2-page free PDF download. Okay, but you don't need it right now. Just know that it's there. I always do a download for every weekly live broadcast. Just want you to know it's there. Okay, as is customary for most of my workshops, I like to hear a word from our sponsor, and that would be the universe. This was a note from the universe I wrote years and years and years ago, out of many thousands. Those are free little things at tut.com. Really and truly, there is only you and more you. Animate and inanimate. Oh, I need to share my screen with you. Let's see here. All right. Now we're talking. That's the home page. Now we're moving on to the note from the universe. Really and truly, there's only you and more you. That goes deep. Animate and inanimate, of this world and of others. P.S. Good thing you're so cool. Now that's going to have even more meaning to you by the time we're done our session today. But the profundity here is that we live in an illusionary world, and you're the creator of your world here. You stream your manifestations. You're doing so right now. I'm just another part of you. And it's all playing to your thoughts, beliefs, your expectations of what will happen next. You are that powerful. And when I say it's all you, oh yeah, there's another layer coming real soon in this program. You'll see what I'm talking about. So you know the lay of the land. This is what I have up my sleeve for this session. Do they exist? Who are they? Just as relevant, what are they? What are they doing here? A glimpse into life on another world, preparing for contact, and happy adventuring. All right, sounds like a plan. We're ready to rock and roll. This is the beginning of the story of what happened to me 10 years ago that changed absolutely everything and got me from a place where I was annoyed when people would seriously talk about ETs to a point of total enthrall. Although my parameters and what lights me up probably still differ from the typical person, obsessed with UFO technology. That's not my interest, but that they exist, that they're part of our spiritual family. Let me go deeper. About 10 years ago, a friend of mine, Tracy Farquhar, a psychic medium who channels her higher self and sometimes other voices, was at one of my conferences. We were catching up, comparing notes, and she shared with me a brand new book that she had self-published. And she shared that while she was at her computer and working on other projects, she would have this feeling coming through like somebody wanted to say something, which is quite common for those who channel. I became aware of what channeling is. Simply, it's when someone can set aside their normal perspectives and ego and let a higher energy or personality come through and present. I got into that ages ago because of my woo-woo mother. I was really skeptical. I thought she had lost it. And she said, "Shut up, Mike. Just listen to what Seth has to say." Seth was being channeled by Jane Roberts, a prolific author in the 70s or 80s. You can look it up, find the books in Amazon. I did as Mom suggested. The Seth books blew me away, filled with a profundity, a depth, revealing life's beauty and our power. And it was like, it doesn't get any better than this. I'm at the center of my universe. My thoughts control my reality. I can make anything happen, including living the life of my dreams. And that set me on a course of discovering my power. And that was 40, 50 years ago when I was 19 years old. So I was into that stuff. And now my friend Tracy, she does some channeling, really beautiful stuff, also empowering, no agenda, no call for alms or anything like that. So I listen. And when I hear stuff resonate and it's lighten me up, I'm like, tell me more. Anyway, she said that she acquiesced to this presence that wanted to speak through her, typing onto her computer. And they claimed to be a collective of 8 individuals hailing from deep space, and that they'd be pleased to go by the name of Frank for our ease and simplicity. That's certainly not their real name. Who knows what their name is, if they even have names. But they hailed from deep space, and they were out on a humanitarian mission. They used that word for our amusement, just to see where they could make life in the universe better, to help people going through what their civilization once went through. Now, at first, that's all like kooky tunes, like, wow, Frank, from where? From planet Brohashka. Planet Brohashka. Well, for a couple of years, I had on and off conversations with Frank while Tracy was in trance. And sure enough, I read Tracy's book that was called Frank Talk. It was awesome. And we decided, Tracy, Frank, and myself, to do a book of our own. And Hay House said yes. So we brought out From Deep Space with Love. From Deep Space with Love, Mike Dooley and Tracy Farquhar. The title has been changed to Channeled Lessons from Deep Space with Love, in case you're looking for it. But I'm going to give you some good stuff from the book. You don't need to go buy that book. I'm not trying to sell that book. So I collaborated with them, and basically I would fire off all these questions to Frank, and Tracy would go into trance and read them and type out the most empowering, beautiful, shocking answers, describing life on planet Brohashka, describing lessons that they'd learned in spirituality that we could be learning, telling us about how they got here, their technologies, their planetary systems. It is so cool. I've been reading it lately, getting ready for this presentation, and it's thrilling information. From Deep Space with Love, Mike Dooley, Tracy Farquhar. Anyway, What they were saying is that on their planet, they did not have the resources to create spaceships and travel through wormholes, as others clearly do have that technology, but they had developed their inner senses, clairvoyance, telepathy, etc., to such a degree that when working in this collective of like-minded beings from the planet, sharing an intention to reach out to the world, just like Earth stuff. There's power in numbers when two or more are gathered in my name, etc., etc. They decided that they would go seek and explore the physical universe by going within. And that made sense. I mean, look, I quickly got on board, and I invite you to get on board. Number one, 3 little presumptions here, yes or no questions that'll get you on board with the potential for Frank's true existence. Number one, do you believe there's life on other planets? Now, while it used to annoy me to just even give that thought, come on, did you know that some scientists claim that there are 22.5 trillion times 100 billion planets in our physical universe, not including the multi-universe, not including probable realities and alternate timelines? 22.5 trillion times 100 billion. There's about 100 to 300 billion galaxies, and each galaxy is said to have trillions, up to 23 trillion planets in one galaxy, and there are 100 to 300 billion more galaxies. That's known science. This is not hyperbole, woo-woo, metaphysical. So I can't even do that number. I think it's like 470 quadrillion. No. No, the number is way, way bigger than quadrillions. But I hypothetically stated in one of my other books, Life on Earth, if there was one inhabited planet for every 14 million, if there was one inhabited planet for every 14 million, that's your odds of winning your local weekly lottery, 1 in 14 million. If there was one habited planet for every 14 million planets, this is real math, I did it, trust me, then that would mean there are 470 quadrillion planets with life. That's 1 in 14 million. All right, the numbers ought to blow your mind. It is illogical and unfounded to think that this is the only planet with intelligent life. Okay, that's the one. So do you believe that there's likely other planets with intelligent life? Bear with me. Yes. Do you understand that our human mind structure is wired to make possible telecommunications, telekinesis, clairvoyance, etc.? You believe that, right? You've already had your own weird experiences in your life. You think of somebody and they call you. Okay, so you know that there's inner senses. Number 3, wouldn't it make sense that if there's other planets, forget the 400 quadrillion, let's just say 10, wouldn't it make sense that statistically we wouldn't be the smartest or the dumbest? That there'd be planets out there that have advanced life, possibly millions of planets out there with life, with intelligent life, more advanced than ours, that have also not only discovered technologies that we can't even wrap our head around, but wouldn't they have also evolved their inner senses and telepathy and clairvoyance to such a degree they could do things that make our head spin? Wouldn't that be a no-brainer? That if they've evolved technologically, they've evolved in all other creature capabilities. So you believe that there's life out there. You believe here on Earth that we have inner senses. So that means out there they'd have inner senses. And if they're more advanced in any way, they're probably more advanced in all ways. Not all of them, but some of those planets are probably not 1,000 years more advanced than us, not 500,000 years more advanced than us, but perhaps 1,000,000 years more advanced than us. Can you imagine where they are, spiritually speaking? We already know they got spaceships here, given the evidence all over the world, right? And so Frank, on their planet with limited resources, had still evolved to where we can hardly imagine telepathically and with their inner senses. And so they're out there scouting the entire flipping universe to be of service, to impart spiritual lessons, to create a mold, to give us something to aspire to, and so much more, that some of which I'll share today and more in the following workshops in the month. So suddenly it's like, oh my gosh, and it gets even juicier in a few more slides. But basically, we came out with from deep space with love. And that was 8 years ago. The book came out 8 years ago. And then some of you know I've written a book with some co-authors, including other ETs channeled by humans. Daryl Anka channels Bashar. Me and Bashar are like that. Lisa Royal Holt channels Sasha from the Pleiades. Sasha is like one of the coolest people I've ever spoken to. And she's all about where they go and what they do and what their life is like, and social norms, education, politics. It's like, and stuff for us to aspire to. It has been unending what I have gotten wind of and how it's inspired me and filled me with hope for where we can be going on planet Earth. Much more details to follow as I fill in the blanks and connect more and more dots. Now, I'm about to share with you on this new topic, who are they, which leads to what are they? Having spoken and interacted with Frank for years, a couple of years before the book came out, I toyed with a question that really unnerved me so much, I didn't press for an answer. It was like, what are you guys like? This was the early conversation. What do you look like? What are your lives like? And right away, I'm like, oh my God, Frank might be like a bug, might be like an octopus. They're really intelligent. It might be like, might be like some 12-eyed, I don't know what. And Frank's answer early in my communications with Frank is what changed absolutely everything, other than getting on board with the viability that I was actually speaking potentially with an ET. Frank's answer was this: while we, physically speaking, on Brahashka, are unimaginably different than you, which is like creep alert, like how unimaginable is a pretty big space, and it's pretty extreme. While we are unimaginably physically different from you, and while our lives are unimaginably different than yours, okay, drum roll, our essence is virtually identical, meaning we have a soul exactly like you have a soul, meaning that we have emotions and we follow a pattern of conscious evolution exactly like all human beings, which is a pattern that pervades the entire physical universe. Doesn't matter what we look like, and it doesn't matter how we live our lives or what our norms are, but we're all about love, patience, acceptance, and learning those lessons, self-appreciation, gratitude, cooperation, respect, honoring the individual, also working together as a collective for the benefit of everyone. They said, we are virtually identical to you, spiritually speaking. And suddenly, instead of having them in the realm of witchcraft and Bigfoot and ghosts, suddenly I felt a kindred connection. It's like, and the light went on this way. I have always surmised, and I think you must be there yourself already, or you're certainly getting there, that everything everywhere always is God. Okay, not God of a religion, but call it source energy, or call it the universe, or call it divine intelligence. Whatever you call it, something brilliant exists that explains all other existences, especially in these sacred jungles of time and space. So the premise here, which is not a big leap, is that everything must be of, by, and for God. And I like to use the word God sometimes to really say, look, I'm bringing home the mother load right now. I don't want there to be any room for misunderstanding. Everything and everyone, every mote of dust, every caterpillar, everything, every vacuum, every planet, tangible or intangible, is pure God. If it wasn't, what would it be made of? That must mean that there's like, well, God's over here, but that crap over there, that's not God. Nobody knows where that shit came from. It's like, no, it's all holy. It's all sacred. And while people do some pretty ugly, disgusting things, it's because they're terrified, they're lost and scared, and it's all playing out in this dream. And one day it'll have context, and we'll see that there was order and beauty and healing going on in that ugliness, which doesn't excuse the ugliness, but that's how God can sometimes look really, really ugly. But it's all pure God. Okay, now this has nothing to do with aliens until I'm having this conversation with Frank, and they said that their spiritual journey is virtually identical to ours. And it was like, of course, don't relegate it to the woo-woo and the weirdness and the ghosts, goblins, and Bigfoots, Mike. It's all pure God. These are other manifestations of God. If not, then what would they be manifestations of? Time, space, and matter is purely illusionary, pure energy and frequency, as Nikola Tesla said, right? So any ETs that exist, and loads do, they're pure divinity, just like you, just like me. It's that we've lived so isolated on Earth in such primitive times, including today. These are primitive times today, that if we couldn't see it, touch it, taste it, or have a conversation with it, it didn't exist, right? Like I said in the marketing for this free event, like long, long ago on planet Earth, there were isolated groups of people on different continents and islands, and they each thought they were the only ones. Oh my God. Why wouldn't they think that if they've never met anybody of a different skin color or different looking eyes or facial features? If you'd never seen it and you've been relying on your physical senses heretofore, why in the world would you even go there? And haven't we been doing that with the notion of interstellar beings? Like, well, who knows? Who cares? Don't see them. Not real. It's all figment of imagination. But suddenly now we can expand our definitions and realize that God is so much more than we have ever been able to touch, taste, or speak to heretofore. And perhaps it takes us being ready before these intergalactic brothers and sisters could show up, or otherwise we're just going to aim nuclear weapons at them and try to blow them out of the sky the way people on Earth 5,000 years ago treated one another who were of different cultures, the way a lot of people still treat people today on planet Earth. Kill them. They're not us. There can't be us. Fear is aroused, and survival instincts kick in. Many of us are moving past that, opening our hearts and opening our minds. And holy guacamole, I'm cutting to the chase here. The entire physical universe is teeming with extraordinary life forms, all existing to add to the immeasurable richness of God. Try out being a butterfly in a one time. Try out being a porpoise. Try out being an octopus. Try out being Mike Dooley. Try out being Frank Brohashka. The universe is unlimited. Of course that would exist. Now, how come we haven't met them? How come I'm not done? I got a lot more juice to share with you. So it's all spiritual. Everything that we ever encounter, even our thoughts, are pure holy God. And suddenly this is true by extension for any and all ETs. They're pure God, learning about love, learning about themselves, learning about their power, sharing, cooperating. Sure, some of those ETs, like some human beings, might be lost in fear. And maybe, we'll talk about abductions in just a second, but maybe some of them have run amok. But something that has become really clear in the last 10 years with my conversations with Bashar, Frank, and Sasha, and others, is that in order to have the technology to go intergalactic, which as human beings we do not have, but to survive and travel physically, in order to have that kind of technology, generally speaking, you must be far more advanced, spiritually speaking, truly understanding the nature of the physical universe and energy and frequencies to achieve that kind of technological advancement. So in a way, surprising paradox here, to really be technologically sophisticated on planet Earth or any planet, you really need to be spiritually advanced. We tend to think, and in many cases this plays out, that the more we're into physicality and technology, the less spiritual we are. But actually to go 20 levels higher with technological breakthroughs and navigating with frequencies and doing what today seems impossible, that requires greater spiritual understandings of reality. And therefore, those ETs that are capable of physically getting their butts all the way over here to planet Earth are perhaps always, if not always, then 99.999% of the time, so spiritually evolved and mature that the last thing that they would ever want to do is interfere with our lives, much less plunder our planet or consume our flesh. They're so far beyond that, because as evidence with such incredible technology that almost always requires high spiritual vibrations, an understanding of love and potential and source. Okay, that's what I'm putting out there to you. Let's move on. Who are they? Now let's talk about what are they doing here? Whether they're here through astral projection like Frank, or through the manipulation of matter, energy, and frequency on spaceships, and clearly the evidence overwhelmingly shows us they are. And now you know why they haven't been so overt, because we try to kill them. They're not ready for us. In other ways, we're not ready for them. I'll talk about that shortly. But suddenly, what was that train of thought going? All right, drink your water. All right, so let me back up. Perhaps it'll come to me. What are they doing here? Okay, that's where I was. Whether they're traveling astrally or technologically and evading us, that's what I was talking about, evading us because we're not ready for many reasons. They're here for the same reason, astral projection or physically. They're here to offer hope, to prepare for contact, either in the years or decades ahead. They're here to fill our space with energetic potential, just as you wish someone good luck and you're sending them golden light and you're feeling with your heart the best for them, and that makes a difference. So does the presence of ETs under any circumstances add to the light and to the hope that we can inexplicably reach out and at times feel, though we don't know why. They're here to support us. But now let me go bigger context with this. When divine intelligence, aka God, decided it wanted to play in these illustrious jungles of time and space, matter, these illusions, this lower vibration density, there is a pattern that has played out in every single planetary civilization, according to these ETs, and it makes absolute sense because we've seen it play out here on Earth. The spiritual beings who take the plunge to live in this paradise, in my example right now, planet Earth, the Garden of Eden, right here under our feet, planet Earth, the Garden of Eden, are so mesmerized and bamboozled by their exclusive focus on the frequencies required to partake that they lose their connection to their higher spiritual self. And suddenly they're operating with their physical senses alone, eating of the forbidden fruit, there's that metaphor, biting the apple from the tree of knowledge, using their intellect, the tree of knowledge, and ego alone to navigate where it's safe to go and dangerous to go and rewarding to go. And their ego is born to identify who they are and what they need to keep safe. And it typically takes hundreds of thousands of years, more like millions of years, in any planetary civilization. All of this is from these ETs. Also, all of this is from Seth and Ramtha and Emmanuel and the many other channels who have graced the earth and made some really great readings, speaking of life's beauty and our power, all really good stuff, asking for nothing, no agenda. According to all of them, this great plunge or this fall from the state of grace, although that's been characterized negatively, it's part of the price of living in these illusions. We've become detached to our source and to truth. And like I said, it can go on for a million years. It could go on for a couple of million years, but it is following a pattern that's otherwise called the evolution of consciousness within a civilization on a planetary ecosystem. Okay. And it is so freaking predictable. This amnesia, this being gripped by fear, being led millennia after millennia by egoic logic, running from fear, being driven by fear more than anything else, completely blind to the light. It is so predictable that ancient prophecy makers on this planet, Nostradamus, the authors of the Book of Revelations, and countless other sacred tomes, big books, they all talked about, the ancient Mayan calendar running out. They all talked about and pinpointed to what we're now living through on planet Earth. We are living through the apocalypse. Right now, it's already begun, and Armageddon. But I'm not trying to scare you. There's a lot more to be excited about than scared about. Most folks, driven by fear, being led by the blind, metaphorically, all these millennia, have believed and fallen into twisted misunderstandings of what this episode on our linear timeline is all about. True, old systems are going to be collapsing. Government, education, technology, every system you can name. If you can name more than four, good for you. There's a lot more than four. The systems that took us this far are breaking down. We're going to need new systems and better systems to move forward. Okay, so anyway, the prophecy makers were pointing to these times where, the fear-driven days of old are going to stop. And we're going to find ourselves. We're going to wake up. Many have already woken up. That you're watching this, you're probably in that category. We're going to wake up to the truth. We're going to discover spirituality like we've never discovered it. And it's going to have nothing to do with religion. Sorry, no offense. Spirituality is our source. It's the energy and the love that perpetuates the cosmos. It's all about love. Okay, so we're going to be waking up, hence the term, the Great Awakening. The Great Awakening has been misunderstood by the prophecy makers, but make no mistake, this is it. We're in the midst of the Great Awakening. The final battle, okay, the Bible would tell you the final battle is the good versus evil, and Jesus is coming to separate the masses as if they were wheat and chaff. There is a final battle at hand. And contrary to what your physical senses show you, and this is echoed by all the channels, spiritual channels and ETs, there's more good and more love and more joy and more cooperation, more harmony on planet Earth today than there was 5 years ago, 50 years ago, 500 years ago, 5,000 years ago. We have raised our vibrations. We are communicating. We are cooperating. There are things that people are talking about these days when it comes to race issues or gender issues or fairness issues that nobody ever talked about before. Equality issues between male and female. We have never been at such a high vibrational frequency. So I asked the council, channeled by Sarah Landon, then why does it look all so bad right now? Why does it look so scary? This was about 5 years ago. And the council said, it depends where you're looking, Mike. We see more love. We see more joy. And I'm like, well, I'm watching CNN right now and BBC and these other channels, and it looks pretty dang bleak. And they're like, stop watching those channels. Go out into your neighborhood. Go to the playground with your daughter. Go here, go there. Make some friends. Have dinner. Enjoy what others in millennia gone past have never known on planet Earth because it's never been so good. But they added that because the light is dawning like never before, and because the conversations are expanding like never before, there are pockets of naysayers, people still clinging to fear, pushing back with resistance. They want things to be the way they used to be. They want things to be more tilted in their favor, perhaps as it was under earlier systems. And so those in denial and those in resistance and those who still live in fear, they're making a heck of a lot of noise right now. So we're on the last battle between the light and the dark, between love and fear. It's the last battle, not because it's the end of the world, but because we're on the cusp of the beginning. We're on the last battle because fear is on its last legs. It is. It's just making a really, really loud exit. And I'm as discouraged as anybody by the headlines lately, which is why I don't follow them anymore to the degree I used to. Instead, I move with my heart every single day, and I see the beauty, and I watch TikTok, and I cry because of the generosity and the family reunions and all the cute pet videos. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is the final battle because we've made it. But it is still a slippery slope. We could use a hand to hold. And guess what? These ancient civilizations scattered around the physical universe, filled with brothers and sisters whose spiritual trajectory is identical to ours. These older civilizations have been through exactly what we're now going through. This is like, and they have said this literally, this is the greatest show in the cosmos right now. Planet Earth, all eyes that are capable of being here, either remotely or physically, they have correspondence beaming back to Brohashka. Okay, this is what the president just said. Okay, this is what the prime minister is doing. Okay, this is who's doing what for whom. This is the generosity scale. This is the sharing scale. This is the love scale. They're all watching us, and they know that it's precarious. It is precarious. Make no mistakes. We all want to choose our focus wisely going forward. But while people are being separated like wheat from the chaff, it's not because of biblical judgment. It's because of their own choices. Right now, we all stand and face that choice every single day. The route of fear, sensationalism, panic, hoarding, anger, retribution, violence, or the path of permission, love, acceptance, dialogue, cooperation, second chances, third chances, unlimited chances. Opportunity never stops knocking. This is where we are. Don't be misled by your physical senses. That's the noise, and the fear is not all that's going on. And the ETs, they know what comes next as we break off into the light. And there will be calamity. There will be calamity. There will be more chaos. But it's certainly not doomsday. Remember, you create your own reality. That's true even in the face of Armageddon. And that's true even in the face of ETs. You create your own reality. Don't ever lose trace. Don't ever lose track of that. Okay? So choose every day wisely. And what the trajectory shows that has played out civilization after civilization, and planetary inhabitants after planetary inhabitants after planetary inhabitants, as the light dawns brighter, as the final battle subsides, as we move into a state of grace with more love and camaraderie than we have ever had before, even more than now, there will be contact with ETs. And we will be welcomed with welcome arms, open arms, if they have arms, or all of their arms, if they have a lot of arms, into what is already known. And I wince at even uttering these words. There is a galactic federation. No, it's not a government, and they're not telling anybody what to do. And no, you don't have to pay taxes. And I know that sounds cheesy, but hey, when you get to their level and you can buzz around and say, hey, this is what we learned. What have you learned? Hey, you look funny. Hey, you look great. Hey, how do you manage universal free energy? How did you deal with teleportation across different galaxies? How do you find minerals and beauty and entertainment and love and joy on your planet? Hey, they're having a fire sale down the road. Hey, this planet over here is in flames. Hey, let's go help. It's like this, I could only imagine, and they say as much, is this collective of joy of different species who share and learn and grow voluntarily from one another. Nobody's forced to do anything. That's on our horizon. And Bashar and others say that it's like months away. Others say it's years or decades away. Truth is, it might not happen for 100 years. Likelihoods, it'll be our lifetime. And there will be that first contact. Back to the question of this slide, what are they doing here? They're watching. They're holding space. They're wanting to serve. They can't and they don't want to interfere with our free will. And they know if they show up too early, because this has happened and it's recorded in their journals to other planets, if a planetary civilization finds out before they're ready that they're not alone and that there's spaceships and aliens on their planet, they could lose it. It shatters their entire worldview for millennia up until that point. They can't connect the dots. They fear for the worst, that it is Satan, that it's satanic. Of course, there is no Satan, but their cultures have told them that there is, and that there's evil out to get them, and it surely must be in the form of these aliens. And it has completely undone planetary civilizations who found out too early that they were not alone in the cosmos. This is in Lisa Royal Holt's books, and it's in other stories as well. And we know it's true. I just saw an interview the other day of a very, very famous news broadcaster. I won't share the name. And he was saying, aliens, they're evil. They're absolutely evil. They're absolutely evil. That's why they haven't shown up and landed in Washington, D.C. or London or Paris or Johannesburg, or that's not the capital of South Africa, is it? Wherever. That's why. They're too smart. They're too caring. They're not going to risk messing it all up for us. But ultimately, there will be contact. Ultimately, there will be sharing. Ultimately, they're going to show us the Earth's true history. I've heard Bashar say that through holographic videos, we're going to see Atlantis. We're going to see the cave people. We're going to see Lemuria. We're going to see the glory of Egypt and Greece and other civilizations unknown to us. That's what ETs will show us. And they'll show us life on their planet. And we will have delegates go visit them, and they'll have delegates come visit us, all in the name of love and joy and sharing. Would you think less in a universe created by God? The only boogeyman that's ever been out there is us when we're scared. And we've been living through very primitive times so far. So they're going to help us grow consciously. They're going to help us grow spiritually, if we're open to it and we want to hear from them. And they will help us grow technologically. This is what's around the corner. Still, you may wonder, could some ETs be hostile? I spoke to that briefly. Yeah, I'm sure on their own planets, there are many cases of that. Are the ones that come interstellarly and land here hostile? I don't think any of them are or could be. If they wanted to create havoc, they would have done it. They could do it. It'd be really easy. According to Sasha and Bashar, they can just tweak their frequency and they completely disappear. They could come and plunder and damage and destroy and kidnap all of us or kill all of us. That's not the nature of reality. The nature of reality is love. It's God, not God of a religion, I must say again. But the nature of reality is joy and camaraderie and expansion and discovery. That's what's going on in our universe. So the whole idea of evil ETs is contrary to reality. And also, as I said not long ago, you're not vulnerable. You know your thoughts become things. You create your own reality. There is a law of attraction. And that's true whether or not there's an ET hovering above you or not. They're not going to zap you and take you and violate the law of attraction. They can't do that, however crazy that may sound. We are inviolate, divine creators, sparks of God. There's only you and more you, and you need be afraid of nothing. Even if there's rampant idiot ETs, so are there rampant idiot people, and you don't have to fear them, right? You create your own reality, and that will put you in a safe place always and forever. So, another question you may still have. Are governments hiding the truth, and why? If we could learn one thing from our governments by watching their behavior, they cannot keep a secret, all right? We know about their affairs. We know about their lies. We know about their porn stars. We know about everything. And you think they're going to be able to keep an ET project under wraps? Number one, I don't think they can do that. Number two, if there was a crashed flying saucer and maybe 12 generals know about it and it's in a hangar in Colorado somewhere, that doesn't even mean anything. Are there ongoing discussions with ETs and international or major federal governments like the United States or Australia or Japan? Again, highly unlikely. And so what if there are? They're not crafting secrets to conspire against the people. If anything, our governments are long overdue for a shakedown and a remaking, where there's more grassroots organizations and more grassroots input every step of the way. And it's not going to be a few political leaders with all the secrets. Soon it will become a knowledge the world over that we're not alone, and that we are each individually empowered and able to reach out and dialogue. Not that the ETs are going to save us. Save us from what? There's only ourselves, but they can cooperate and collaborate and learn from us as we learn from them. And so I am not saying ETs are coming to save the day. We have saved the day by coming this far in peace. And right now, there's more love on planet Earth than ever before. And as we continue to choose love and cooperation and peace, we will expand and grow and discover our full glory. And ETs will be learning and riding and cheering us on, and we'll be teaching them a few tricks as well. Absolutely, no doubt. So might a few governments be in communication with ETs right now? It doesn't matter. I doubt it, but so what? They will not be the keepers of this connection. Each of us individually will be. And just as we can each go within and make contact with our higher selves, so can each of us go within and reach out and make first contact. We'll talk about that briefly in just a little bit. So forget all the conspiracy theories. They're basically irrelevant. Number 3, how would open contact change life, identity, and our future? I think I made it clear by now, fantastically. Not going to save the day, not a magic pill. We still have to choose our thoughts wisely. We still have to choose love over fear, but it would enrich our lives, create hope, give us models in ways that are truly unimaginable. And I mean in wonderful ways. Unimaginable breakthroughs will be added to the possibilities of our immediate future as we make contact with ETs and our own higher selves, and we remember and awaken to the truth of reality, that it's all love, that we're all powerful. Number 4, are we truly ready spiritually and socially for first contact? Well, I think I already made that clear. Not everyone. Clearly, this newscaster I just quoted a minute ago, he's not ready. A lot of the people living in fear, the people that are scared, it's going to be really hard. If their whole life premise is that God is an angry white dude and we're here to be tested, judged, and sentenced, and suddenly ETs appear on the horizon, that can only be bad. And that's what they're going to think. But with our love, and maybe people sharing this video and getting others thinking and connecting more dots, then nobody needs to be scared. Nobody needs to be scared for all of the reasons I've already shared. Number 5, how might their existence, ETs, reshape our spirituality and beliefs? Oh my gosh. They are so far beyond where we now are. Like I said, we're not talking about civilizations that are 1,000 years more advanced. Think 1,000 years from today, without their help, how far would we be? Oh my gosh. Think about 1,000,000 years in the future with the help of ETs. Well, they have had help and they've been at this, some of them, a lot longer. It's going to be unbelievable how we will be enriched, spiritually speaking, and in terms of our own evolution of consciousness. It's going to be win, 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 win. But we will still have our issues to deal with. We'll still have to clean up after ourselves. We'll still have to get a handle on rampant energy use that's polluting the planet. We still have to do all that stuff, but we can ask for help. Life upon other worlds. Okay, so in my book with Frank, my book with Tracy Farquhar and Frank, a lot was shared. And Frank said it was about 1,000 years ago that their civilization was exactly where we are. So they're not that much further along compared to others. 1,000 years ago. And they said it was so precarious and there was such animosity. I mean, you can see it, you can chart it on a course. Okay, that's why the Nostradamuses were so accurate in predicting when we would be at the cusp of our own great awakening. When Prohashka was on the cusp, there was such divisiveness and polarity and anger and fear amongst much of the masses that many thought it was the end of times. Some broke off into communes and went out into the woods to be self-sufficient to get away from the Kukitunes who seemed to be getting an upper hand. And the Kukitunes getting the upper hand were the people who were gravitating towards more love, more trust, more openness, more discussion, more respect for everyone, no matter what. Frank said that some on their planet went off into the woods and killed themselves. They were so afraid of this new lifestyle that would be so inclusive, so vulnerable, so trusting, so loving, no matter what. But as their systems, economy, currencies, education, politics, etc., began to literally collapse, Armageddon, apocalypse, new systems that to many sounded crazy came into place. One of which, I'll tell you one of which, and then the rest I'm going to save for the rest of October. They completely did away with currency. They had money on Prohashka, and going into their dark night of the soul, as the old system started failing, they decided to get away, to completely drop currency. Anyone and everyone could go do what they want, where they want, how they want. It turned out people wanted to serve. It turned out people wanted to cooperate. It turned out if somebody needed a roof built, anybody who knew how to build roofs went and built a roof. And if somebody was hungry, anybody who was growing food went and got them food. And everyone found a place. They said that that was one of the biggest turning points in their entire revolution 1,000 years ago, by getting rid and abolishing currency. Now, I'm into currency and I love the business world and I like cryptocurrency. Even that didn't exist. They abolished currency and they said in that one instant, 100% of all planetary corruption ceased to exist. Because if you can't hoard, you aren't motivated by corrupt reasons. So in one stroke, they completely annihilated all planetary corruption. And we're talking about governmental projects, group activity kind of corruption. And as everybody found their place and things to do and what to offer, whether they're artists or builders or whatever, everyone was creatively fulfilled. And they said, while at first it was like a hope and a prayer, that faster than they ever could have expected, every field of endeavor in their society blossomed. The arts blossomed, sports blossomed, play blossomed, industry blossomed, businesses boomed. Everything started working like crazy. Universal income is a step in that direction. They didn't even have universal income, but just everybody has been provided. I asked Frank, do you have a perfect system? No, they don't. They don't. They said they would have questions if they met a more advanced civilization. And he told me in the book what those questions would be. Stuff I'll be talking about all month long in our next 4 workshops along the lines of visitors of light. But life on other worlds, just can you imagine no strife, no unemployment, no hunger, everyone creatively engaged in every area of their life. They are now thriving. All right. Now, page 2 of your handout, we're getting near the end. I want just to tell you There's a UFO. Page 2 of their handout, of our handout, I'm sharing Lisa Royal Holt's overall philosophy and how to prepare for contact. Now, I have that book, Preparing for Contact by Lisa Royal Holt. Let me just read this summary to you because it's not what you think. Okay? Contact is not about summoning something external. It is about reuniting with a larger aspect of self and consciousness. When you're in resonance with curiosity, openness, and love, you become a compatible frequency for interdimensional exchange. Physical contact may follow naturally, but the consciousness connection is first. This book explains how contact is already now playing out. There's a lot of references to first contact or direct contact, and Bashar says it's coming really soon, and others echo that. It's already happened. I've already had conversations with Bashar. I've already had conversations with Sasha, and I'm relaying them to you. This is like firsthand account. What Lisa points out in her book, and it is really clearly illustrated, is that most folks will have initial contact with ETs in alternate dimensions of consciousness, whether it's the sleep state or in a parallel state. It won't necessarily be with your eyes in your ears and shaking their hand. That might not come, or eventually it will come, but that might not come in the immediate future. You could be well on your way in a relationship and being fortified with growth and positivity and energy and bright ideas already, and you can foster it and facilitate it by the exercise and ideas shared on page 2 of your free handout. This is all from her book, Preparing for Contact. We think in terms of physicality almost exclusively. Like first contact's going to be meeting them physically. It's like, no, it's going to happen here. And it's probably already happening. Mind-blowing. We'll talk about that in this coming month. There's so much more on tap. I would love to invite you to a month of Infinite Possibilities membership, as little as $15 for the next 4 workshops. And I'm going to tell you much more about life on Brohashka. I'm going to tell you about life on other planets from other conversations with ETs that I've had. My conversations known have all been through people channeling ETs. Spiritual lessons that we are poised to get, that we're so close to getting. What would they all who are watching from the atmosphere like us to know and benefit from? I'll be sharing that. And get this. One of the Tuesdays this month, I think it's the 4th one, is an actual interview where it's me and Lisa Royal Holt for 1 hour, and she's going to be channeling Sasha, who is from the Pleiades. That is going to be brand new material. Hasn't even happened yet. I'm going to pre-record it soon, and then I'll be there during the live broadcast because Lisa's flying on a plane to Japan. But I will be there, and I'll be premiering it with you within our membership on the 4th Tuesday of October. That's what's in store in this month's Visitors of Light for members of Infinite Possibilities. Membership can be canceled at any time. It's variable pricing. You pick the price you pay, as little as $14.95 for the entire month. What's $15 divided by 4? It's less than $4. Less than $4 per weekly workshop. So, and then you have access to the last 12 courses, including Manifesting Money Miracles, one of our most popular ever. We also did a whole month on AI, talking to God. That's just a few months old. Join today and you can do that whole month before Tuesday. This coming Tuesday, let me take off this. This coming Tuesday, I'm going to be broadcasting the first of the 4 installments for members only of our Visitors of Light. So I can't wait to see you there. I'm going to call it now. It's 3:10. It's already been an hour and 10 minutes. I'm sure you've got appointments. I've got some too. So there will not be a question and answer session right now. But in 6 days, this conversation will be continued, and then a week after, and then a week after. And then every Tuesday, all year long, I do a new mini manifesting workshop. Okay, would love to have you. If you sign up, I think today or this week for the membership, you're going to get access to 5 other talks I've recently given, spiritual tune-ups on ETs and such relevant information pertaining to Visitors of Light. So there's a little bit of an incentive there. Either way, I hope I have given you food for thought. I hope that perhaps these ideas will expand and blossom in your heart, soul, and mind. Remember, your thoughts become things. You are all powerful. You are not vulnerable. You are here for greatness. You are loved and adored. You never are alone, not only by spirit and the universe and beloveds on the other side of the curtain, but ET brothers and sisters who are excitedly preparing for contact with this new group on planet Earth. They're really wild and crazy. We're going to have so much fun collaborating with them as we have fun collaborating with our ET brothers and sisters. I hope you feel empowered. That was my intention. And again, I hope you got lots of good stuff from this free broadcast. Whatever you do, much love. There are notes from the universe. They're free. I send them out every Monday through Friday. Members get them Saturday and Sunday too. So I think that's about it. Unless the team behind the scenes interrupts me and says I've forgotten something. In a few seconds here, I will be signing out. Mike Dooley, Orlando, Planet Earth, much love. And well, see you Tuesday next week. And we're going to continue this conversation. Dale ho, amigos. Much love. Hasta luego.